welcome back to another episode of the Extremely Casual Gamers podcast with Ali, Chris and Guy. This is a casual gaming podcast for the everyday gamer. And on today's DLC, we have a very special guest, don't we, boys?
We certainly do. I'm a little bit nervous for this one because this is...
Really?
We're getting... If you notice that voice, you probably understand why. Now, on the show today, he is coming to the country this week for Armageddon Expo. So if you are going to be in Auckland, make sure you try and meet this guy. He's been in the industry for many, many years. He's a writer, he's an actor, and more importantly, he's a voiceover actor who has been in titles such as The Last of Us, but more importantly, he's been in the Uncharted series as Nathan Drake. Welcome to the show, Nolan North.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, we'll add some
me.
clapping. We'll do something in post. But Nolan, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We can see you in your little voice booth there.
Yes, you can see all the toys some of the toys that I've collected or been sent. So it's nice to have a little something nearby.
Yeah, of course.
I had the shelves and I had nothing to put on them, so I figured, well, I ought to step up and put something there.
Yeah, fair enough.
My wife won't let me put it anywhere else in the house. So.
See, this is
There we go,
this is
yeah.
an interesting point, Nolan, because my wife, whenever I get like a new game and it comes with a big poster, she'll say, "Cool, that'll look really great in the garage or maybe in your
bin.
office." Is that what your voiceover booth? Is that where you just put all your gaming stuff?
Yeah, well, some of it, yeah. There's it's been a long career so far, so it's there's a few boxes that I actually literally was opening a box the other day and I found a brand new PlayStation Vita with the Uncharted Golden Abyss game. And
Oh wow!
like 3 copies of Deadpool and a bunch of things. So I was like, oh, look at this. My son was like, you should sign it and sell it. We're not that desperate yet. But I know exactly what's going to happen when I die. It's just everybody's just mad.
If you ever see him practicing your signature, you know what he's up to.
Yeah, exactly.
Nolan, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the podcast with us. In terms of voice acting, it's such an interesting situation where, we work in radio and podcasting here in New Zealand, and so it's hard for me to wrap my head around the amount of people that might be listening to my voice right now. Whereas, Nolan, you've been doing this since, the mid-2000s in terms of voicing video games. I think I've heard your voice maybe more. I've heard your voice more than my own father's voice. So does that a weird thing?
I don't know what to say about that. I mean,
But,
Just say to him, I love you and I'm proud of you.
I do. I love you, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you so much, Nathan. I mean, Nolan.
You're welcome. There you go.
Is it a weird thing for you to wrap your head around, just the sheer amount of people that have heard your voice on these games that have sold millions of copies?
It does now. I never really, it's not something I really think about a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's been a good career, long career. Knock on wood, still going. Since I've got into the Comic-Con circuit, doing some of these things all around the world, which is just bizarre to me. You get to see the, how prevalent the gaming specifically has blossomed over the decades, and first time I was in London, they're like, oh yeah, there's a 3-hour queue to see you, and I'm like, you mean queue means line, right? That can't be right. And they were like, I was like, oh, but yeah, I joke, I tell people I've traveled the world more than Nathan Drake has because of Nathan Drake, and whether it's Finland or Sweden or Bahrain or Kuwait, New Zealand, Australia. I mean, it's amazing to see how what we created endures in a way. So I never really, I don't sit around, sipping a cocktail like, millions of people know my voice. It's not something that you kind of think about. But I'm very grateful for all the success that we've had in so many projects, and really excited to get to Auckland for my very first time.
Oh, man. We're excited to have you. Nolan, I mean, obviously, Nathan Drake for you. I still remember the PS3 launched. Uncharted, Drake's Fortune sort of was a launch title for them. And it was sort of like, oh, this is a new franchise. Never really heard of this. It's like the Dude version of Tomb Raider, And
it was called, people used a joke called a Dude Raider.
Dude Raider.
Dude Raider.
And it was brilliant, puzzles, platforming, a bit of gunplay and stuff. It was great. But it wasn't until Uncharted 2 came out for me that game genuinely blew my mind with the graphics, the storyline. And it was like we had reached a point where games were turning into full-blown movies. Did you notice a massive explosion when that second game arrived on shelves?
Well, I do know that more copies of Drake's Fortune, the first game, were sold after people had played the second game.
Yes.
At a time. So, after the first one, we were just excited. Hey, we're going to do this again. We're like, great. And the second one for me was personally my favorite. We worked very hard to try to make that feel as much like a film as possible. And I remember our director, Gordon Hunt, who's Helen Hunt's father, tremendous background in theater, and he's a legend at Hanna-Barbera Studios. He used to say, he would block a scene for us. And he said, okay, and then you say that line and then you exit off that way. And Amy Hennig, our creative director and our brilliant writer, would step in and she goes, actually, Gordon, he can't go that way. He's got to go that way. He's like, why? He said, well, because the gameplay takes us that way. And he would turn to me and he'd go, there they go again, turning our movie into a video game. But if you go back and play that, you'll see that it has the best sense of urgency and pacing, the same way a good film does. Each cutscene leads you to, we got to save Elena, find Chloe, stop Lazarevich, and you really have no time to eat or pee or break. I mean, I've met numerous people who've just I played that all the way through. I couldn't stop. And I think it's a real testament to everything that Amy wanted and Naughty Dog was trying to create. And I think it set the standard for games, every game that came after.
Totally. How did you get into voice acting in the first place? When you were a kid, were you running around the house doing silly voices and your parents were like, we should get him to do stuff? How did that end up happening, and how do you get into stuff like this?
Well, yes and no. I did run around with silly voices. I did get in trouble. In school, I joke, everything I get paid for now is everything I got detention in school for.
Nice.
But no, I wanted to be a baseball player. I went to college on a scholarship and, wanted to go pro, and I'd hurt my shoulder. And, when I hurt my shoulder, I took an acting class because I had to get an arts credit at school. And I really didn't know what I was doing, but I was like, we're just playing make-believe. This is easy. And then I guess I should, okay, I'll say it. The teacher he said, I'm putting up a play, and I really would like you to do this. And I said, no, I'm not interested. And he said, well, Jessica's going to be doing it. And this is a girl in the class that I was interested in. And I was like, oh, well, all right. And she's like, you should do it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll do it. And it was a lot of fun. And in between, I had some friends bet me that I wouldn't do stand-up at a local comedy club that was there, and I did. I said they bet me I think it was 7 guys bet me $20, and $140 to a broke college student was pretty good. And I ended up getting a job as the opening MC because the guy said, yeah, you just do a few jokes, then you introduce the other comics, and I'm like, yeah, all right. And still, it wasn't enough. I wanted to be in journalism, and that's what my degree is. And then I went to a graduate school in Boston for that, and I was actually a reporter for a year, and I hated it. I was living in New York, and a friend of mine who had actually seen that play in college was at Columbia University as a playwright, graduate student. And he said, hey, I'm doing a play. You should do it. And I did it, and I loved it, and I realized, you know what, I would rather be broke and happy doing this than have a job with a career path that I didn't want ultimately, and didn't make my mom very happy. She thought I was crazy, but I started doing theater, more stand-up in New York, and about a year into it, I just decided to move to L.A., and 6 months after that, I had a 5-year contract on a soap opera. So now I'm a professional actor. I'm doing it, and I'm getting to answer your question.
No, I love it.
This is great.
I love the context.
But and then when the show got canceled, you as an actor, you bounce around to the other things. You do guest stars on different shows here and there, hoping to get another series of some kind. And it hadn't happened yet. And a friend of mine that was on the show with me, the original show, was he came to me and he said, you're always making us laugh with your voices. You should talk to my voiceover agent. And we had our second baby. And my wife, I must say, put on record, she had pushed me. She said, you should do voiceover.
Awesome.
You should do voiceover. Aww. And I wanted to be a real actor, which is
a thespian.
So immature, because people who do voice acting are real actors.
Yeah.
So that was just stupid of me. So I went to see this agent. She signed me right away, and we were off to the races. And gaming was one of the places that a lot of people didn't want to do because there's no residual money in it. But, and at the time, your Thug 2, Soldier 4, things like that. It's get down, grenade, that kind of thing. And I think the rate was about $690 a session, like $700. And, people said, why do you want to do that? You just go in there and yell. I'm like, well, I'm going to yell at my kids for free. So I might as well go do this for make an extra $700. Anyway, I was fortunate enough to be at a time where gaming was just starting to grow. It was always big, but an actor's role in gaming and narrative type games started to become something.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be the right guy at the right time, and here we are.
Amazing.
Yeah, so it's been a nice run that continues.
And it's all thanks to Jessica.
Yeah. Shout out to Jessica.
If you hadn't done the theatre, would you have ever gone this route? Who knows?
Butterfly effect.
I don't know. I just, I think I remember talking to my brother, who I'm very close with, about it, and I said, I just don't think I can continue, and what do you think? And he said, well, what do you want to do? And I finally said, I think I want to be an actor. And he was like, well, that's harder than making it in pro baseball, And I said, yeah, and I know, but I think I got to try. And he looked at me and he said, well, you've made me laugh my whole life, and you've always entertained the family. He said, he said, if anybody can make it, you can. So
awesome.
So it was, it became a thing.
Amazing.
And I think I give a lot of credit to that first show that I did, because I really wasn't sure exactly what I was doing, but I happened to be the right look for that particular part, and it lasted 5 years.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
And so it was. I got paid to learn.
Cool.
And here we are.
Awesome.
So you've been, like you said, you've been going on this career path for quite some time now, starting with, Thug 1 and Soldier 4 and stuff like that, and going all the way through to Nathan Drake as well. Is there a particular line, a phrase, even a noise that you've made in your career on any character that you can think of that seems to have stuck? You find yourself like is a favorite?
Oh, that's like asking me my favorite child. There's so many great ones. I mean, I have
so
been
many
really,
children.
Yeah.
I have so many kids. I think 42 is my favorite. No, that's an interesting question. They all are. I guess the ones, Nathan Drake's probably the most important one I did, because it was full body motion capture. It was like doing theater. It wasn't just sitting in front of a mic and doing something. And it certainly became so big that it led to so many other things as well. But I mean, Deadpool is one of my favorite characters I've ever done. Dr. Richthofen from Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah.
He's been going forever, and Black Ops 7 will be coming out in November, and it's chock full of Richthofen and the Ghost from Destiny. There's certain roles that are almost like annuities, that just the gift that keeps on giving because they become so popular. And so yeah, I don't know if there's a particular role, and you don't even ask me my favorite lines. Gosh, where do I start? There's been, I've had most of these projects I've worked on have had really, really good writing, and I am open to ad-libbing here and there, and I'm kind of known for that because my mind ping-pongs around a little bit. But ad-libbing is useless if you don't have good structure, you don't have a good story and good lines. Once you get it as written, good collaborators, good directors let you play with it a little bit. And then it's like, thank you for letting me play. If you use it, great. If not, no skin off my nose. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Nolan, just so that you understand the dynamic of our group, I've played the Uncharted series about 1 million times, start to finish, one of my all-time favorite series. Guy, you've played it a few times.
Yep.
Ellie, I tried to recommend her play Uncharted 2, and she got motion sickness and quite stressed out from the beginning when you're hanging off that train as it's off the cliff, and and it's just so intense. Yeah. In your career, you must have had to voice like, so many times, or getting like hit in the face and that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I used to think I should walk around with like a CD or some kind of recording, just like, hey, we need the efforts. Yeah, here we go. No. Oh, crap.
Oh my God, that was so good. That was really impressive.
Amazing.
Well, that's the thing, right? But that is also Nolan's voice.
Yeah.
So that must be
Yes.
a weird thing, right? Because you can pull out Nathan Drake whenever you want, and everyone goes, oh my goodness, that's so amazing. But you created Nathan Drake.
Well, what's funny about that one is, I'll meet somebody at a Comic-Con or somewhere, and we'll talk for a few minutes, and they're like, great, so I'm glad you enjoyed that. And they're like, hey, one last thing, could you do the voice for me? I've been doing the voice. It's just, they expect it to be the same one that's under gunfire.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on. So, but yeah, it was, and that's that was a nice perk about, not having to do anything with that. Like with David, with The Last of Us, just turned him into somebody a little bit different. That sounded,
Oh my goodness.
especially. So when you see that voice coming out of that face, it just, I remember looking at the artwork and I'm like, I know what I want him to sound like. So, yeah, but there's a creative freedom that you get there to play around.
Just quickly, David on The Last of Us is like, for people that must know it by now, they're watching it or playing it, terrible character, like so scary. And that what happens at the end of the game there, amazingly voiced, of course, Nolan. But like, that's just terrifying stuff. Do you get a kick out of doing the more creepier, and getting to have a bit more fun with Yeah?
100%. 100%. I mean, whenever you play a dark character, twisted character, just a bad guy, or whatever you want to call bad guy. As an actor, I found ways to, I don't look at David as a villain, despite what happens in the game, because, people, how can you say that? He was a cannibal and he tried to, get with Ellie, and I'm like, well, let's think about the context. Apocalyptic world, everybody, all the women there could be sterile. I mean, she was of age technically in a society that has no rules. They're foraging for food, so they got to eat people. So, but that's how you play that, and then it's the actions and it's the things that happen, because he protected her until he didn't.
Yeah,
of course. When he realized she wasn't going to comply. So yeah, but anytime you play the quote unquote bad guy, I think it lets you tap into something that you would hopefully never do, things you would never say, and it was a special treat to go from being Naughty Dog's poster boy hero on their big hit game to playing somebody in their next big game that was the 180 turn.
Yeah.
So it's always rewarding. I mean, yeah. In my on-camera career, I've always have been drawn to those shady characters. There's nothing better than making a character someone they love to hate.
Yeah.
I think that's the trick. And I always joke about the Call of Duty series. I don't know what I did right to turn a World War II German into one of the most lovable characters. I don't know. But I'm reaping the benefits.
One thing that seems to be, I'll use the term plaguing because I want to sort of get your feedback on it. In the voiceover world at the moment, especially in video games, is the introduction of AI and developers utilizing AI, essentially ripping people's voices off, getting them in a booth, get them to say a few key phrases, and then just chucking it into a video game. As an actual person whose livelihood would be affected by the introduction of AI, do you believe it has a place anywhere in some capacity in video games, or are you more of the just keep it out because it's going to be affecting people in their jobs?
Well, I think once you introduce it, it doesn't is never could be shown the exit door. So I don't know enough about it because the technology changes every 3 to 6 months and it gets better and better.
Yeah.
The only thing I question is, while it can replicate a voice, I don't know if it can replicate the nuance of performance. It can do its own, but I can't tell you how many times, I'll get a script and I can read those lines on that script. But, I'll read every line. Let's say they want an A, B, and C take. Each one will be different. Inflection could be different. The tone is different. And then I may see something and I might say, hey, what if he said this? And I make something up. AI won't do that. And if I'm wrong, don't write me letters because I won't read them. But don't write letters. It's just that nuance. I was working today with someone and they asked me about that. And they said, what if somebody just brought you wrote you a huge check, like just a ridiculous sized check? Would you, and I couldn't quite tell if they were making a subtle offer. I just said, well, it would be a ridiculous check. It would come with an NDA that nobody ever would know. But how would you use it? I said, we just had so much fun in this session. We made up things as we went. How is AI going to do that? And there was this pause. He goes, you're right. And I'm like, yeah. And this was he was actually a writer. And I said, and if they get that with me, why not get AI to write your scripts? So where do I enjoy working. So I don't think that would ever be a serious consideration. I know there would be a huge number that they would never offer. So it's moot.
Yeah.
But I again, the nuance of performance, I don't think that is. I mean, you can get AI to create certainly something. It could do that, but I hope not. Personally, I hope not, because could AI do the battle grunts? Get down, grenade? Yeah, but now you're taking away the ability of someone who's starting in now.
Yeah.
Might want those roles that I got. I have two sons who are in the industry now, and the idea of them being replaced for the scale rate, it just doesn't seem like you're going to save that much money by, the scale rate, if I'm remembering this correctly, would get you a 4-hour session, and they were allowed you could do 3 voices. So you could be soldier 1, 3, and 5, or 1, 2, 3. I don't know why I picked those numbers, but you could be 3 random characters, and which I often did, even if I had a lead character. I mean, there's in the Arkham series, very often the Penguin is talking to 2 thugs, and they're both me, and I'm the Penguin. So it is bizarre, but I hope not, because I just think I just don't think it can do what it can replicate a performance, but is it good?
Yeah.
Is it a good one? Now, then that begs the question: do gamers care? And I think they do. I think they would notice.
We care. I think so. Like, there's something about playing something that has been handcrafted and performed and written, and it's essentially art made by humans for us to appreciate. As soon as I find out that it's been made by a robot for my enjoyment, I'm like, I've just something disconnects in my brain.
Value just goes.
100%.
I think it's. I think it would be a very slippery slope to even entertain, and I think that's why the unions worked at getting whatever protections they could at this point.
Yeah, good.
And but I think it's something that they're going to have to keep battling and have to keep talking at, because unfortunately there is a lot of it all comes down to money. Follow the money, and if they can save a buck here or there, and it's already devastated the on-camera industry, not AI, but just money. The fact that so many things are shot overseas. There's very, very little shot in the United States right now, because they can go and have the grips and the people doing lighting, all this stuff, and they can pay them a lesser rate. So, it's interesting. I just don't think I think there's something nice about being a human being, enjoying another human being's performance, rather than just being fed something.
Yeah, that's right.
Something was computer generated.
Yeah.
There's a place, I guess, for that if you like that kind of thing, but it feels like it would be a genre rather than take over everything, because I don't know.
Yeah. You mentioned Nuance there, and before that too, the fact that you turned a World War II German soldier into this lovable character. This is the really weird thing with a lot of the games you're involved with too, especially Nathan Drake, is like this guy who essentially murders thousands of people. Like, I have murdered so many people as Nathan Drake, bad guys who are shooting back at me, you know what I mean? And I still love him, just think he's the best bloke on the planet. How do you achieve that?
Well, I think you need to tone down the word murder. I mean, you can use stealth mode.
Yeah, you could. I've tried.
It was your choice, Chris.
But no, I mean, I think it's. There are some games where it's just mass violence, and there might be some sort of masochistic thing that I just want to shoot people, which is better to do in a game than in real life.
Yes.
So remember that, kids. But it's a game. Okay, it's a game. We see it in movies and that kind of stuff. And yes, you go out and they're targets, but there is that disconnect. It's not real.
Yeah, totally.
It's all make believe. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, they never killed anybody for real.
No, exactly.
Clint Eastwood shot a lot of people, but no, they got paid and they went home to their families.
Yeah.
So it's just make believe, and I think there's a place for that in games. And when we talk about every now and then you hear some idiot in my country talking about how there's shootings and it's because of video games, and you're like, okay, video games are huge all over the world. They don't have this problem. So, period.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no further discussion. I think it's maybe for some wackos out there, it's a nice outlet.
Yeah.
But with Uncharted in particular, that was they're trying to get you.
100%. They're the bad guys, right? But
self-defense.
100%. But this is the thing I'm talking about. Even you saying self-defense like that, it's about making this character has to be so likable. And he is. He's so charming and so funny. Where what you're dealing with is like, in any real situation would be very intense. Like, for you to actually be able to nail it, so that this guy is just so lovable as well. Is that quite a hard task to step up to? Like actually making him so charming and just, because he's always cracking jokes and.
Well, thank you, first of all. But I think, again, I always go to what the writing, where Amy Hennig created the character and let me, I tell people she birthed him and let me help raise him. And, I think there were a lot of, I think there may have been 2,000-3,000 people had auditioned for that thing. And
wow.
why I got it, I really don't know. But there were, on-camera focused people. It was all over the place, and there was just something about me, and his sense of humor is definitely mine. It gets him out of trouble when things get hairy. I'm usually one cracking a joke, just the way I am, and it's an interesting question because. One of the things I think that, first of all, if you remember the first game, the title on the box was One Ordinary Man, One Extraordinary Adventure. And I always looked at him kind of like if Indiana Jones and John McClane from Die Hard had a baby.
Yeah.
It's about fun. It is much like Raiders of the Lost Ark, it is a pulp action kind of thing. And for me, it was interesting that they would always have us, when we weren't in the motion capture suits, we had to go into the booth and do some of the in-game lines. And they did something very interesting we called it chasing picture. So they would have someone from the developer's office, run the character through the gameplay level. And he would stop and look at things. And I would literally sit there with a cup of coffee, watching the screen and just ad-lib things. Like Sully's climbing up. I'm like, you got a great ass, Sully. Little things. And there's another time I remember running through the chateau level. We got to get to that tower. And I kick open a door and I go, come on, Sully. Hey, popcorn machine. And I keep running. And I said that because it looked like a popcorn machine. And what's interesting is I've met so many fans who've said, it's so weird. I'm running through this, I'm playing this game, and I see something, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, that looks, and then you say it.
Amazing.
And it's, so when we did that sort of thing, which I've never done with another developer, I don't know why, but I think it really helped that everyman feel.
Yeah.
I'm 6'1", and Nathan Drake is 5'10", because that's the average height of a male.
Yeah, right.
I guess that's what they told me. And so it was interesting you wanted him, I remember them talking, they talked about when he hits somebody. Traditionally the hero is like, yeah, and stay down. And I remember doing a take one time, and I hit a guy, and I went, with shaking my hand, that hurt. And everyone kind of laughed, and I think it was Amy or somebody just laughed about that. I said, well, have you ever punched anyone? And they're like, no. And I said, well, I have. It hurts. I clocked a guy in the face once in a fight, and I thought it broke my hand. I'm like, he falls down. He doesn't just pop right back up. It's like, okay. That kind of thing, because I think that's what I would actually do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've fallen and just been like, okay, that was stupid. I did that. And I think people gravitate toward that because he was vulnerable, which is one of the most important things that an action hero can have. Mm-hmm. And there were years in the 80s, early 90s where they get shot and just like, yeah, just keep going. It's like, no. And I think Bruce Willis, to his credit, in Die Hard, I think on camera was the first time I ever saw somebody just picking glass out, and you could feel every punch, every hit he took, and he kept on going because he had to. And Same with Nathan Drake.
It's amazing with that because your popcorn machine line. My one that for some reason just I remember is like you guys breaking. I can't remember which game it's in, but you guys break in somewhere. He's like, we're in like Flynn. And then it's like, what? Oh, no, never mind. So, like just a line like that, which was that just like a...
like Flynn.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I was like, what? That's such a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
See, AI wouldn't do that, would it?
Nah,
You know, it wouldn't have that nuance.
Yeah. No, he has that. He just, there's sometimes like lines like that where they're so stupid you have to kind of, recognize the stupid.
Yeah.
And say it that way. I remember... where Sully goes, well, and I go, right. And then Elaine is like, what? And I'm like, because it's a well.
Oh my God, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. And she just shook her head, and it was just, little things like that. Marco Polo with Claudia Black.
That's right, in the rooftop hotel.
That was another one of those where she's sitting in the room with me. We're watching that, chasing the picture, watching it. And the guy, whoever had run through, jumps in the pool. And I just sat there going, Marco. And she's like, I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, no, come on, Marco. She's like, Polo. And, and then he gets out of the pool. And, of course, everyone was smiling, making checks. Yep, that's going in.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a trophy in that game, I think. It
is.
Yeah,
It is.
Called Marco Polo, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
100%.
You've been in the gaming industry for a long, long time. You are also a gamer as well. That's an integral part as to what makes you so lovable and relatable to so many people. Obviously, looking behind you would indicate maybe you're a gamer. What are you playing at the moment? Is there a game at the moment that you are soaking some hours into?
Golf.
Oh, yeah?
Outside. I'm not a gamer. I'm terrible at them. I played some, but I work inside all the time. So when I'm not working, I'm a child of the late 70s and 80s, actually. Where you'd come home from school, my dad would be like, "What are you doing inside?" I'm like, "Well, it's raining." He said, "Wear a coat." My brother and I standing outside in the rain, like, "What do you want to do?" I mean, we weren't. It was weird. We weren't allowed inside. I don't know what they were doing. But I don't have any other siblings, so it couldn't be that. But sorry, I just have to get that image out of my head. No, but and then games have become so sophisticated. I've tried playing with my kids, and like L2, where's that? You're dead. What? I'm the one that's like, where's the circle? I got to look. Oh, you're dead. So. I grew up with an Atari, a button and a joystick.
Yeah.
This moves, this fires. Pretty simple. That said, they're pretty amazing. I mean, I have played. I will tell you this quick story. I did a game a long time ago, early in my career, called Call of Duty Big Red 1. It was an Xbox exclusive. And I was Sergeant John Randall, who you storm Normandy Beach.
Right.
With. And I'm a history buff, and World War II, I have this odd fascination with everything World War II. And I remember they gave me the game, which they often did at the end. And I said, I remember Randall, and then I played a Russian commander in the Stalingrad levels. And I remember I had to go out and get an Xbox. And we had dinner that night and finished around 6:30. And I told my wife, I want to try this game. She goes, oh, yeah, great. And, my kids were little, I'll do bath. That's great. 6:30, I turned that on. And the next thing I remember is she walked in her pajamas. And she goes, are you still playing this? Oh. And I'm like, yeah, why? And she's like, it's 3:30 in the morning. I had played for 9 hours. I didn't get up. I remember my eyes, I could barely blink because my eyes were just like this. I had one of those deep set couches and my arms are like this. So when I went to stand up, I was like, I couldn't. And when I stood up, I almost wet my pants because it felt like somebody had stabbed me in my bladder. I was like, oh gosh. And I ran to the bathroom. It was just like, I gotta stop. I just could not stop playing because at that time it was like, I mean, I was playing Asteroids
Yeah.
in the 80s.
Yeah.
And now I'm playing this. I'm like, this is unbelievable. So, yeah, I may have a problem. So that may,
You prefer not to game?
People would just not, they'd never see me again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because I can't stop. I have to find out what happens. And games are so sophisticated now. They look amazing and the story's great. And all of a sudden, you know, you're just so in it. And next thing you know, it's April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a beard. I have a beard down to my stomach. You know,
What's
Be
your
awful.
what's your handicap in golf then, Nolan?
I think it's about a 7.
Oh
Oi.
god, that's single digits,
seven,
man. Jeez.
7 or 8. I'm single digit, but the thing about a 7, 8, maybe 8. I think maybe a 7 index, but it plays to an 8, 9, something like that. But I can have a great day and I figure it all out, and then the next day I don't.
Yeah.
That's just the game of golf, isn't it?
It's awful. But see, that's what I like about it. I like the fact that, first of all, I like being outside. I like the camaraderie. But you can play the same course and every round is going to be different. And it's just, it's you against the course. You're not really necessarily playing against somebody. And there's something about the mental thing and just trying to get this right. And the funny thing is the time you get it right is when you're thinking stops.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
you get out of your head, and sometimes that requires a few cocktails. It's amazing how you know, 2 beers and I am just birdie, par, birdie. Then the third beer, it's bogey, double bogey. I just never found that balance, but that's probably a good thing.
They call it the Goldilocks zone, where everything's just right.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've never been in it.
Yes. It's exactly the responsible alcoholic who just knows where to get to. So
That's
no.
right.
Nolan, we mentioned it at the start. You are going to be here in New Zealand for the first time, you just said.
Yes.
So you're going to be at Armageddon Expo. Are you there the whole weekend? Are you there for one of the days? When can people
Yes.
see you?
No, I'm going to be there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which I believe is your Labor Day.
Yes,
Is
that's
that
correct.
Yes. So I will be laboring while you all can come out and see me. I'm really looking forward to it. We, my wife is going to join me on this trip. She never goes, but she's like, New Zealand, I'm in.
Oh, cool.
So, so we're going down together, and it should be a lot of fun. Again, I've never been. I've been to Australia a few times, and I'll actually be going to Australia after Armageddon the following week for Adelaide, and then the following week for Brisbane. So I'm doing a whole
Australasian tour.
Down under tour. Yeah.
Australasian tour. Yeah, but I've had so many friends who were in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and my friend Graham McTavish, who did The Hobbit, and he's doing Spartacus, finished up Spartacus there. It's very funny. He was supposed to be there, and and he's actually here. I'm in Atlanta now because that's where I finished up a TV show for Peacock, an on-camera show.
Cool.
He had to cancel Armageddon because he's shooting a film here. And I'm going to New Zealand.
Yeah, right.
So you're swapping places.
We're swapping places. But, I will say this about it. So Graham McTavish played Lazarevich in Uncharted 2.
Oh my god,
And-
the worst villain of all the games, by the way.
And he, worse as in hard.
I hated his guts. It was hard. The final boss is so hard, but also he was just so evil.
He was. The funny thing is he and I became such good friends, such very, very close friends, that they made him Cutter, Nathan Drake's best friend, for the third game. So that's him with his British accent.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this
That's
is
so cool.
That's amazing.
And he's a part-time Kiwi too. I mean, I think he still has his place in Wellington.
yeah, right.
So he's a wonderful guy, and I'm sorry to, he was here for a few days, stayed with me for a few days, and saw the family, but it's strange. We covet the times we get to spend together. We really cherish it, and as fate would have it, I'm off. He's here.
Yeah.
But he's busy. He's shooting. He's He's like, but I have a day off on the 25th. I'm like, I'm not there.
Yeah, sorry.
I will literally be. I will be there. I will be with everybody in New Zealand. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, we're really excited to have you here as well. Thank you so much for your time today, Nolan. This has been such
course.
a long, great chat, way longer than we said we'd be. So I hope that's okay.
Sorry about it.
It's fine. It's fine. I you know what? It is. What is it? 8:15 or something at night here.
Oh yeah.
Have a bite to eat, watch a film, and probably go to bed.
Yeah,
Nice.
lovely.
Real quick
Nice.
before you go, can you do the Nathan Drake voice for us? Damn it, I screwed up the line.
You're gonna have to wait till I get to Auckland for that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait to hear it. I'll
Yeah.
know it when I hear it too.
Yeah, I've been
Exactly.
waiting for
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been waiting.
Will.
Yeah.
You'll
yeah,
definitely know it when you hear it.
And before you go too, Nolan, thank you so much, man. Like, I think I've enjoyed your voice for almost 2 decades now. Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, obviously, Last of Us, so many titles too. And while you're just out there, you're just doing your 9 to 5 and doing what you do. It brings a lot of happiness to me. Like playing game, that's how I unwind after work. It's how a lot of people listening to our
thanks.
podcast. That's their happy place too. So without knowing it,
Great.
yeah, you've brought a lot of happiness to a lot of people that listen to this podcast.
Well, I really appreciate it. It's an honor. It's a pleasure, and that's not just lip service. It really is. It's just been it's been such a great ride. And
Yeah.
I'm just so grateful that people like what we do and have just. I have no intention of stopping. So
Great.
if you're sick of me by now, get used to it.
Amazing. Well, thank you. If you want to see Nolan, he is going to be here in Auckland at the Auckland Showgrounds Overlay Weekend for Armageddon. And apart from that, have a great week. And thank you so much again for your time, Nolan.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
See
you
you
next
later.
week. Bye.
Bye.